Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. More of JP Morgan's employees and the business itself is being questioned for spoofing over the last several years, placing thousands of false buy orders on these exchanges, tricking people into thinking that there's a lot of silver being bought up, which is definitely manipulating, controlling the markets. Now, this has been going on from JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, the Dutch Bank, all been in question, all have been charged with this crime, and it begs the question to ask, to what extent are prices actually being manipulated? What would silver's price be if this wasn't happening? Now, it's always going to happen regardless, whether it's to extreme cases or smaller cases. People are going to be controlling the markets in every investment, every market, stocks, real estate, cryptocurrency, precious metals. It's going to be manipulated to some degree. It's called a bubble, but this is a very severe case. Now, hopefully, since it's a punishable crime now and people are starting to crack down, the government's starting to crack down on these guys doing this, it will lessen, but I don't think it's ever going to stop. Now, it's interesting to see that silver compared to gold is so high, and this is looking more towards silver spoofing, not gold spoofing. So I'm curious I want to bring this question up to ask if you think that silver is undervalued to such an extreme extent because of this. Do you think that this is causing silver to stay low? And do you think that it will ever naturally rise? See, that's why I wanted to make this video, because while I'm thinking about these topics and these subjects and these conversations, I always come up with some questions to ask myself, and I want to ask you guys as well. When is silver's price naturally going to rise? What will it take? What will it take? Will it take this spoofing to stop? Will it take maybe supply and demand to start setting in? Or is it going to take investors to start seeing silver as a real investment, or all of the above? There's many different questions that go along with this. See, silver has been manipulated historically for several years, over 100 years. I mean, look, in the 30s, FDR changed the gold to silver ratio from 16 to 1 to 75 to 1. I mean, it dates back farther than that, thousands of years. In biblical time, it was 1 part silver equals 1 part gold, and then they changed it to 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold. So the gold to silver ratio was already manipulated back, backdated to biblical times, Egyptian times. See, gold and silver are very different markets, and they're marketed very differently, and they're perceived very differently. People see gold as more of a royal metal. People see silver as more of a commodity, more commoditative, used in electronics and stuff, which is true, but I don't think people understand how vast the silver world can go, or how much potential it has. I think it's the lack of information and the lack of education that leads people to this misunderstanding. If people did understand how much potential, how undervalued, and where silver could be headed in its future, I definitely think markets would be a lot different right now. So what's it going to take? I can only make so many YouTube videos informing people on this, and it goes a lot farther than me or YouTube. It goes to how we as an economy perceive investing, and how the dollar is being controlled, and how people worship the dollar. See, people are designed to worship the dollar because it's based off of faith, and that's how the governments want us to run. Without faith in the dollar, we can see where it would head. It's to the ground, and it already is, because people are losing faith. Geopolitical fear, economic insecurity, all of this is leading towards, gold and silver. But the other alternative would be to still worship a falling currency. We see cashless nations appearing in third world countries where they carry their money in trash bags. They literally carry their money in trash bags because their money is so worthless now. It's like the purchasing power of a penny, going to buy a candy bar, going to buy some gas, and having to bring hundreds of dollars of bills with you, because the dollar bill is only worth about 2 cents. That's the reality of the third world countries, and we're not, just because America and USA and Canada and some other places are, Europe isn't as broke. It still is headed our way. Now, going back to the manipulation, I definitely think that gold can be manipulated too, but on the other side of the thing, on the other side of the coin, no pun intended. See, gold's natural price, I think, should stay around $1,500, maybe $2,000, at most. Maybe some say $3,000, but that depends on what's happening in the economy, the strength of the dollar, and also, more importantly, what is silver's price. See, if the gold to silver ratio is 16 to 1, that puts silver at $90, right? If gold's at 1,500 right now. So that's not unrealistic. So for the ratios to go back to historical times, it really wouldn't be that hard. The whole thing is getting over this hump that people have of silver being extremely undervalued, because we're desensitized to these prices now. Just like with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was reaching that 18,000 range, people got desensitized to that price. So then when it's back down to $10,000 right now, people are like, "Oh, that's too cheap. It crashed." When in reality, Bitcoin still is up $6,000, $7,000 up from last year. That's a huge, huge gain. But since people are desensitized to such a high price, it's going to be hard for them to look at it that way. Whereas people like me that got into Bitcoin at $1,800 was like, wow, $10,000, that's still an extremely high amount. See, it depends on when you come into the markets. So I definitely think that price manipulation should be, hopefully, is going to be somewhat controlled. It's never going to be nipped in the bud. I mean, we're never going to have full anti-spoofing exchanges. It's sad, but it's true. I just hope that they can somewhat peg this, or somewhat get a hand in this, to say, you know what, guys, if you're going to be doing illegal activity, you're going to have to pay the consequences. Not just fining them. See, that's the thing in the article I was reading about this, is they were saying, well, they might still get away with it. They just might get a fine. They don't care. These guys, they're bankers. These are banks. This is the largest bank in the world. Do you really think they're going to care about paying money? They make money. It's not about that. It's about jail time, imprisonment, and that's where some of these guys are going to be headed. So I'm glad to see that this is starting to actually take effect, and take effect in full force, because without that scare, they're still going to keep doing it, and they're going to do it anyways. But hopefully it just might make them take that second thought, or second guess, if it's worth it or not. Because when it boils down to it, silver or gold, there's profitable ways to make money regardless if you're spoofing or not. Now, to the extent that they're doing, I'm sure that they are making money from it, but they're banks, so why are they worshiping a dollar so much, and why are they focused so much on gold and silver? That should be the real question. Why are central banks so centralized around precious metals, if precious metals isn't even in a part of our currency anymore? It's not even a part of our money. That doesn't make sense, but that shows the power of gold and silver, and the intrinsic value that they offer, that even higher up banks understand this. Me and you understand it, banks understand it, it's just the vast majority of the public do not. And that's where a lot of the new money could come in return, forcing prices higher. So to what extent, I keep going back to this, to what extent are these prices being manipulated, being controlled, being rigged? If you're like watching a rigged basketball game, it's fake. You don't even want to watch it. Same thing is starting to happen with silver. Prices are rigged, so what's the point? Hopefully this is going to be something that won't hurt markets too much, but it definitely is right now. I'm sure a lot of people are taking a second thought about investing into a rigged market, knowing that the prices are being controlled or being manipulated to at least even a small degree. Even a small degree could throw things way off, because who knows, with billion, trillion dollar banks and corporations, to what a small degree might incline, it might cause major, major effects. So anyways, I know this was more of a down video, but it's the truth, and it's something I was thinking about today, and I wanted to bring it up for you guys and gals to interpret, and to also explain and share your opinion with. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, because I do post daily videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did miss my 2 other videos today, I highly recommend them. I know you guys will enjoy them. Very good videos. I'm talking a little bit more about this price manipulation, and I also made another video earlier today that I definitely think you'll enjoy. It'll be in the top left and right hand corner. Make sure you click on those. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.